Mahmood Hussein, welcome to 2020 Revision.
My pleasure, Ralph.
Now, you're the CEO of Global Drone Solutions based in Perth. Can you please take me through your 2020?
Yeah, certainly can. Look, from a drone perspective, our business has done extremely well. I have to admit, I was a bit concerned, of course, like everybody else in January, on what the outcomes are going to be due to all the uncertainty. But what we did is we realized that some of it was in our sort of court, and some of it was outside our control. So we focus on the bits that were in our control, and our business has grown 300+%. So it's been a fantastic year for us, although it's been a bit of a mixed bag for the industry itself.
So what do you put that down to? That's an amazing result given, I guess, the doom and gloom around certain industries. For you to grow as a business is quite amazing under these circumstances.
Well, look, Ralph, it's like everything else. We've now been established for 5 years. We've been working with you for a number of years. And so what's happened is that as a business, we have grown and we've got ourselves a really great reputation in the marketplace. We have over 100 5-star reviews. So the whole team's ethos has been, how do we make the experience for our clients to be risk-free and pleasant? And because we've done that for 5 years and building the brand, where the opportunity was in the marketplace, we were given that opportunity to quote, and that's all we asked for. The other thing that we did is, because of all the marketing that we do, we realized that, like every other business, you get objections of, we can't afford it or we haven't got time. Well, the time issue was, here's a great opportunity. So we marketed to the people who were saying they didn't have time, and so, well, you sat in lockdown, what about upgrading your certification, or better still, getting a brand new certification in the drone industry? And I have to admit, they took us up on that, and so we've been super busy.
So I guess, like most businesses, when COVID hit, you had to adjust your drone piloting school to comply with the regulations and have people in at a safe distance and all of those things. How was that received by your client base and your staff?
Well, look, it's like every other large organization, and we're very lucky. We've got a lot of tier 1 companies like BHP, Rio Tinto, Chevron, Shell, the Water Corp, Department of Education. I knew, having come from these large organizations in my own history in the past, that the training would be stopped, and so would marketing. That's normally one thing that you see, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But it wasn't just from a financial point of view, but it was also the travel, the restrictions, to travel. And we, having that knowledge, what we did is we focused our marketing on the small to medium-sized, businesses. But of course, the first thing we had to do was upgrade the training facilities, not only from ensuring that they were safe, but to make sure that we have enough room and social distancing. We're very lucky in the complex that we, our training facilities in. They actually had a facility that was up for lease, and it was 4 times the size that we currently had. And so we negotiated some deals. And the interesting thing was, it's this camaraderie that came about, because the landlord said, look, I understand we're all in the same boat. I'm not getting paid for it anyway, so you can use that for free. Now, how good is that, right? Now, that's what really makes me so proud to be an Australian, because we stood together and realized we're all facing the same challenges. So for the 6 months that we utilized that facility, they did not charge us any extra, but allowed us to have a lot more space and not only meet, but exceed the requirements of the 4 square meters and everything else. But there are very good things like that, and that we marketed that, and people realized, wait a minute, we can go to this facility and ensure that we're safe, or our staff are safe. So that's that's the thing that helped us. But the other thing is, you know, having the staff, the team that we've got that were knew we would have to face different challenges. And I'm so proud of them because they had to jump through a lot of hoops, but they did. We delivered, and we continue to do all that training throughout this COVID period.
It's amazing when you think that Western Australia probably had one of the more strict, I guess, protection policies in the country in terms of lockdowns and all of that. But in your industry, it is open to people that are able to do things in different ways, and you're able to conduct the training the way that you want to, but also market to the people as well. So in that environment to thrive is obviously a testament to how you, as you said, build up your business's brand.
Yeah, so absolutely right, Ralph. And the other interesting thing was that we had invested in the business in not only technology to improve the process and the systems, but we'd improved in the training material as well, so that we had an option of people learning online as well as in the classroom. And so what we did is we focused and promoted the online part of our training more aggressively. And instead of having to spend 5 days with us, what people had to do was spend just 2 days with us, do all their learning, the theory component of the drone pilot's license, which is, 12 modules online. And then they came to us just for 2 days. So, it all sort of came together. I mean, nobody knew about COVID, but having that invested that couple of years ago in the online training certainly, came to the fore. And to be honest, it's what really kept the business going. Now we're back to, sort of 50-50 face-to-face training on a 5-day course and 50% online, because there are still, quite large, areas which are regional and people don't want to, come down to Perth and spend, travel and accommodation and everything else.
Now, part of what you do to, I guess, keep up with the latest trends and laws and everything that are going on, you have to monitor everything really closely from the authorities. What has been your take on how the drone industry has progressed in 2020, even though we have been in this period of uncertainty as a country?
Very good question. And because nobody knew about COVID, CASA, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority, brought out a new manual of standards back in 2019. April 2019 gave the industry 12 months, so it's supposed to go live on the 10th of April 2020. And of course, you can just imagine, the mayhem that COVID caused. But look, CASA came to the party and they basically said, we'll give you 6 more, months. Although our company didn't need that, we actually got approved back in January 2020. We were the 3rd company to do that. Again, it's that focus and being at the forefront, ensuring that, all our training material was the latest and, met all the requirements, ready for April. But look, in general, it's such an exciting industry. I mean, there's so many good things that happened. I'll give you some examples. You've seen, I'm sure you've seen now, air taxis, Jetsons, here we come, because just go back 3 or 4 years, people are thinking, oh yeah, I'm not sure whether this is still a dream or not. Guess what? Uber have said in another 2 years, we will have Uber taxis, drone taxis in Melbourne. So they'll have them in Dallas and another location in the US. But it's not just that, and that's made massive progress this year, by the way. So you've got air taxis now being fueled or tested with hydrogen, new fuels, right? And that's just a game changer, from an air taxi, perspective. And I'm really excited about it. Then you've got other software and hardware being introduced. Now, LiDAR laser scanning technology, was relatively new in drones 2 or 3 years ago. Before that, it was so large, you needed, Cessna and manned aircraft and helicopters to, use it. Well, now it's been miniaturized by some fantastic companies here in Australia. And so for underground mining, laser scanning is a game changer, and that's now been well and truly implemented. On top of that, you've got multispectral cameras for the agricultural industry. You've got improvements in powered lift aircraft, which take off vertically, fly around like a fixed wing aircraft, and then of course land vertically as well. There's been a massive improvement, heavy lift drones, so that can fly for 30 minutes and still carry up to half a ton, right? So there's a massive amount of work and products that are being introduced to the marketplace. On top of that, the really exciting area is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. All these algorithms being introduced and proven in the marketplace. So you've got unmanned traffic management systems being introduced where aircraft can tell through artificial intelligence craft are in the area, whether that's manned aircraft or unmanned aircraft, plus what detects buildings and other obstacles in its way. So you can just see, combining all that, what an exciting area. And COVID has not had a major negative impact because a lot of these technology, whether it's hardware or software, has been developed in labs, right? And so we've been allowed to go out and test it. So pleased that I am in this industry, because it certainly has massive potential for the front, going forward. And it's bringing more and more companies into the industry. And the best thing is we're getting more and more clients because there's more applications, and it's been proven now that drones can help you reduce cost, reduce risk, and improve safety, which is one of the best things in the marketplace.
It's amazing to think that through this period where there was, I guess, some skepticism and some depression around that, companies that are embracing technology, the ones that are moving forward, and by the sounds of the anecdotal evidence in your business, in that 300% growth is also reflected in what's happening around the world.
Oh, absolutely. And, I know a number of businesses who've grown even more, not in the drone industry, but in other industries where they've grown more than 300% because the opportunities came along because of COVID. For instance, I know one safety organization here in Perth, suddenly I've gone from $1 million a month turnover to $10 million turnover, right, a month. And what they do is they do all the security scanning and checking for COVID before anybody gets onto a mine site, right? So not only are they doing it at the airport here and the regional airports, but then they're doing it at the same at nearly every airport and every mine site, right? So suddenly you can just see, they were in the right place at the right time, and they've taken on their workforce as just, well, multiplied. And the good thing is that the industry, mining, oil and gas, pay well, so they didn't have the difficulty like some of the companies are facing, where you're trying to employ somebody on $50,000 or $60,000, while JobKeeper and JobSeeker just doesn't cut it, right? So it's going to have its challenges. It's just one, being at the right place at the right time, but secondly, more importantly, being able to see that opportunity and take it and exploit it and do something about it.
So, I mean, based on our conversation today, your main learnings out of 2020 would be the fact that out of sometimes desperation comes inspiration, and you are actually able to thrive and create more business opportunities when perhaps others can't particularly sort of see them. So it's remaining optimistic, I would imagine, would be one of the learnings for you in 2020.
Absolutely, Ralph. I still remember this day, and I recall it regularly with my team. Back in January, we're only a small team of 6 people full-time, and another 6 are part-time. And putting the team together and saying, listen, guys, we don't know what's going to go on in the future. Going to be a difficult time. We want to make sure we still have the same team. And what we'll do is we'll reduce hours so that we're working 50-50, 50% of the time. And so that we can ensure we can all pay our bills, right? But I still want to end up with the same team at the end. And that's very, very clear in my head, that discussion. And it was not an easy discussion because you just don't know whether, how your staff was going to take it. And you don't know their circumstances. Will that 50% be able to pay for their bills? And, but look, it just changed. We've now just started on Monday this week, a GM for the business, because I can't, manage just with the amount of workload that we're going. And of course, we are going, national now. Even through COVID, we didn't allow that just to stop us. I have to admit, initially I thought, oh, this is going to be a bit hard because expansion plan for 2020 was national. But it slowed us down, but we still got there, right? But you're absolutely right. What we had to do was, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Let's work on today. Let's keep motivated, and let's keep learning and see how we can take the opportunity to streamline and become a lot more agile, so that whatever comes our way, we're giving it the best shot to get that client and that business.
So with that in mind, what are you looking forward to most in 2021?
First of all, a little bit of travel, right? We have made quite a few inroads, and they now have representation in every state, which we didn't have last year. So even through COVID, we did that. But my job with the GM coming on board is to really go on and focus on expanding that footprint for Global Drone Solutions on the East Coast. Let's face it, we tried and tested this business and the model, and made it very efficient in only 10% of the population. 90% of Australia's population is on the East Coast, right? And our plan was always to go and do that. So that's priority number one. I'm pleased to say that one of my team just came back this morning from Northern Territory. We delivered some training over there over the last week. And we're getting lots and lots of inquiries from all over Australia. So my job is, how do we get a bigger footprint on the East Coast and help other people join the drone industry?
Mahmood Hussein, thanks very much for joining me on 2020 Revision.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.